Hey, I'm Nick, and I help people improve their productivity and discipline in order to reach their dream lifestyles. And today I want to get into the importance of not being too hard on yourself and actually making sure that you're making good progress and not getting caught up in trying to be as tough as possible. But to start off with, I want to talk about motivation and more so the more tougher side of that a lot of us may experience, because it's not a bad thing to be motivated to do something that's hard. That's where most of motivation comes from. When you see someone struggling and doing something big like a marathon or some kind of really hard thing to do with exercise, maybe, it's not a bad thing to be inspired by that and then go on to push yourself and build up to that. But what is a threat to your actual progress and could slow you down a lot is thinking that you can go from 0 to 100 super quickly. So the next time you're watching something inspirational and motivational, make sure that you're having that step where you realize that, yes, this is tough, this is fun, but I'm not going to be like this straight away. It's a good goal to think of yourself as, okay, this time next year, I'm going to run a marathon, I'm going to be that big, that strong, or whatever, if it's got to do with exercise, or learn that much about a certain subject that you're watching about. But all of that is good as long as we're making sure that we're not being too hard on ourselves. Because the worst case scenario is that we think that it has to be that tough for us. We have to push ourselves that far and do that specific thing, which actually is not possible for us because we actually haven't built a foundation first. It's very, very detrimental to think that you're going to go from 0 to 100 as quickly as watching a video takes. It takes a lot of time, not just feeling motivated and then going after it. You need to actually build your foundation and build yourself up. But even going further than just making a start, when you're feeling motivated and you're feeling like you're going to push yourself, that doesn't necessarily mean that the harder you go, the more results you'll get out of it. Because, as an example, it can be a lot harder to run 5Ks with a weighted vest on your back, or it could be a lot harder to do that when you're injured, or all those other things where it feels and it generally sounds kind of tougher to run 5Ks while you're injured, run 5Ks while you have 20 kilos on your back. But it's not always the best if the results that you're going for are getting better at running and not getting better at pushing yourself through pain and then being injured afterwards. Which is where focusing on the results comes in. What we want to focus on is what we're actually going to be getting out of whatever we're doing. We're not focusing on how tough we can be on ourselves or how hard and difficult we can do something. It's about the actual results that we want. If we want to get better at running, then we're going to go through training and go through things that are going to make us better at running. However, if we're going to do ultra endurance stuff, if we're going to do things like practice for getting in the army and getting dirty, getting muddy, and being all uncomfortable, then it's a time to start experimenting with being a bit tougher, being a bit harsher, getting a bit dirty and gross, and all those other things. But if you're just trying to get better at running, then seeing those motivational clips of people doing some kind of hell week or something like that isn't always the best to gauge whether or not you should change your training, because what you want is to just get better at running, which means that you need to lay off if you're being injured so that you can recover quicker and go through all those smaller things that really do matter and add up, instead of just thinking, I'm gonna thug it out and do all the things that I see in the motivational videos, because their goal is to be tough and to be able to run in harsh climates. But your goal may not be that, and it may just be better at running or whatever your goal is. So even if you are feeling bad about yourself, that you're not the type of person who can do the harsher, more tougher version of whatever you're trying, just figure out first thing first that what is the result that you're aiming for. If you are aiming to be able to do ultra endurance or to be able to run in harsh climates and harsh situations like that, then it is okay to feel a bit of tension in your mind that you need to be pushing yourself harder. But if your goal isn't to do that and it's just to get better at running, like I keep saying, then it's okay to take a step back and actually focus on getting better at running and not turning yourself into some kind of Navy SEAL. So yeah, that's all for today. But if you're still interested in learning more about productivity tips and tricks, I've now started one-on-one coaching, which you can book a call for using the first link in the description below. But until then, I'll see you later.